Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome to the show. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. You're listening to the Literacy for All radio show. We're on WS Radio, and our guest today is someone I haven't spoken to in decades. We're not even that old. This is the CEO of the Coalition on Adult Basic Education, Sharon Bonney. How are you?
Hi, Jose. It's great to be with you.
Great to be with you. I'm so glad to have you on the show with us. And I'm looking at your website and your questionnaire, and a lot has happened. Looks like you've been with COABE now 11 years. But the thing that jumps out at us and jumps out at me is the work that you have done with your crew to increase the membership. In fact, as I look at the leadership profile, this organization, which tell me if I got this right or wrong. This is adult educators, adult basic education, and at one time you had a membership of 1,300, and now you're up to 28,000. What happened?
No. Well, Jose, we work really closely with state associations, and as you know, there's a number of state associations, about 46 across the country. And so we work really closely with them. And then we also work very closely with our strand partners. Now, these are national organizations that we have partnerships with across the country. We also have workforce partners. So we work with Google and Tyson. We work with Marriott and IBM and a number of other organizations. And so that's really how the organization has grown, just through strategic partnerships and really through trying to ensure that we have a good suite of benefits for our members as well.
Wonderful. And is it safe to say, because you did mention a few corporate partners, that there's with your adult basic educator membership and just the whole field, there's an emphasis in your case on the workforce?
Well, we do have an emphasis on the workforce, but honestly, and primarily, our goal is professional development. We have a national conference. We've had virtual conferences. We offer webinars as well. We have a journal. That's a research to practice journal. So when that's primarily our focus, we also do advocacy work, not lobbying, but advocacy work. So really trying to bring in funding for the field of adult education. But then we also do have workforce partnerships where we work with Amazon to provide a talent pipeline. We work with Google to push out their Google Applied Digital Skills program and that sort of thing. So we definitely have partnerships that are workforce-related, but we also provide a number of other services as well.
Wonderful. And I do want to ask you about your strategic initiatives. Right now I'm looking at the regional map. Really big in California. Why? And I'm going to come back to that. Why aren't we doing more together? And then Texas, and then looks like Pennsylvania. Oh, my goodness, Florida. A lot happening in Florida. Tell me why the big focus in that particular state.
Oh, that's a great question. So really, one of the things that we try to do is work closely with the state association. So when it's a vibrant and active state association, then in turn, there's, on our map, you're going to see quite a bit of activity. So they've got a great board of directors there at Eset, Florida, and a wonderful executive director who's extremely busy, a lot of professional development, a lot of advocacy work. They're well-funded as well. So that's why you see quite a bit of work there. Now, in other states, what we've seen is where there's not as much of activity at the state level, then it really does impact the local programs. So we've been really trying to dig in deep with the state associations and encourage them to be active, to do more than just a state conference, to also have advocacy initiatives and also to have other professional development activities.
And so how would you rate, this is kind of a thing for me, how would you rate your relationships with the field? I mean, it's really tough because you're a national organization and you have all these members. You have a lot that you want to communicate. It's hard to say, oh, wow, we have, hey, I know Jerry out in, Montana. but how would you rate just your ability to communicate, relate, and be accessible to your membership?
Oh, that's a great question. So we not only do we work with these national partners and state partners, but we also have really good relationships with local programs and with individual members. So, for example, since COVID-19 hit, we've conducted a number of webinars. We've had over 22,000 enroll in the webinars because we just communicate directly to our membership base, encourage them to sign up and that sort of thing. Same with all of our benefits. So we have individual benefits and we also have state benefits. So we have benefits specifically for those individual members. So we work very closely with them, with our members, encouraging them to attend our conference or encouraging them to take action when we send out legislative updates. But then also we receive, I want to say the last time I checked, it was over 50,000 emails that we get annually from the field that we're, our info manager is the one who really goes through those and makes sure they go to the correct people. And so our phone, we have an 800 number. We have 3 receptionists that are available to take calls because we do get quite busy throughout the year. So we're definitely very connected in that way with our membership base, but we also have those state and workforce partnerships as well.
Wonderful. So if I were to send you or somebody in the organization an email, I would hear back from somebody.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, within 24 hours.
I love it. Oh, yeah, it's so important. It really is. And like say 50,000 emails. That's a lot of people out there trying to access you. And I'm just so glad that you have the capacity to have that kind of back and forth with your membership. I think it's really important, and I think it's vital just to have having an adult basic education network that has a touchstone for one, and two, it sounds like the ability to communicate with each other. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So, for example, we just recently sent out a survey to ask our field, how are you dealing with the effects of COVID? What can COABE do to help you? What are some new resources you think would be valuable? So we launched that. We have a little over 1,300 responses. Our goal is to close this down by June 1st, and we're going to tabulate those responses and see how we can pivot and how we can help our field.
So I'm looking at, because you do have on your website COVID-19 resources and just a good collection of webinars. And as you said, you've collected information from the field. And so they're getting, because I know this is a thing right now, people trying to figure out how to keep the services going. We kind of come into towards the end of what would be a semester. We're going into the summer months, but one, people want to keep learning. We want them to keep learning, and two, we're coming into, before we know it, the fall terms, and so we have to be prepared with resources because we don't know when things are going to get more safe, I guess is the best way of putting this. What was one of the big surprises you had in terms of feedback that you got from the field about how programs are dealing with this COVID-19 challenge?
Well, honestly, so far there really haven't been surprises. When I was looking through the information, it was that our field is really trying to pivot. They're trying to get their classes online. They're trying to make sure that they'll still be eligible for funding. They're really trying to help the adult learners. I've been amazed at how they're willing to work such long hours. I was on the phone the other day with the immediate past president of the state association there in Florida, and she was telling me how she works from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., and her child is home because, all of the children have been sent home from school. So trying to homeschool this child as well as doing her job, as well as, being the immediate past president for the state association. And honestly, Jose, I don't think that's unusual. I think our field is really putting in incredible hours to try to help the adult learners. And I think taking that one step further, I think a lot of the adult learners really, when you think about what they're up against in trying to help their kids to be able to have the access that they need, first of all, to have the computers that they need to be able to be, in the classes that they need to be in. But then if you think about maybe someone who is an ESL student trying to help their child to get on to the websites and be able to take the classes that they need to do, you can see how it's really quite a strain on that that ESL students. So I think we've got a couple strains. One is our teachers and administrators are really flat out trying to really deal with this COVID crisis and take their brick-and-mortar classrooms online. That's one. And then you have the adult learners and what they're dealing with and what's going on in their home. Many of them which are unemployed right now, so that's a strain. And maybe they don't have the Wi-Fi access or they don't have the computers that they need, or if they do, their children are on them. So I think these are real issues that, COABE is taking to heart. I didn't see anything new when I was looking at the results from the surveys. I didn't really see anything new there as much as that it kind of reinforced for me what a big crisis this is for the field.
Yeah. We have a minute before a break, and I just want to say something about what I see in the adult basic educators in our network and in yours, and that is, they really do take things to heart. They get to know their students, they get to know their community, and so it's really, really important to them that things keep going. Is that your observation?
Absolutely. What I see is these teachers and administrators are all in. I mean, they're trying so hard to do the best that they can for their adult learners. That's definitely what I see, Jose.
Well, we're going to come back to that. It's a different culture, and it's a beautiful one, and very community-based and very personal. We're on the Literacy for All radio show. We're talking to the CEO of COABE. That's the Coalition of Adult Basic Education. This is Sharon Bonney, and she's running this national group with her team, and they're doing great work. So we'll be back shortly. You're listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
Can you help a newborn baby in need? Sometimes the blessing of birth becomes complicated and perilous. Miracle Babies is there to help. Miracle Babies helps moms and dads give their all to their struggling little baby, but still need more. When you give to Miracle Babies, you help them give more. More skin-to-skin care, breast milk, and love. Go to miraclebabies.org and give right now. Be their miracle. Looking to be a successful entrepreneur? The virtual assistant industry continues to be a top choice for those looking to start their own business. The problem can be how to become a virtual assistant. Many turn to the Bible of the VA industry, the book, Virtual Assistant, the series, and it's the perfect guide for office managers, executive assistants, and other administrative professionals looking to make the transition from employee to successful business owner. Go to vatheseries.com to get your copy today.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
Homeless veterans and their families are suffering and need our support, but many won't ask or don't know that help is within reach. Veterans Community Services is here to help. Amazingly, about 35% of the homeless in our neighborhoods are veterans with families. Low-income veterans or their friends are encouraged to contact Veterans Community Services and reach out for help with housing and other services. Call now, 800-974-9909.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children. After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The WorldLink program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world where children don't play, or dream, or imagine.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're working every day to find cures for diseases that strike down children. Because we can't imagine a world without children. Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To learn how you can help, log on to our website, stjude.org.
Donate cash, furniture, clothes, and other gently used household items to Father Joe's Villages and get a nice tax break in April. Every donation is tax deductible. Believe you can make a difference. Be Father Joe. Go to neighborhood.org or call 1-800-HOMELESS to donate today.
Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Jose Cruz from the San Diego Council on Literacy. You're listening to the Literacy for All radio show. We have as our guest the CEO of COABE, that's the Coalition on Adult Basic Education, Sharon Bonney. Welcome back. And I have a question for you. And I'm being funny, but I'm being serious. Now, I'm looking at California. We're Region 8 on your map here. I haven't met Larry Ann Torres, and I'd like to. And I'm asking that question because I'm also looking at the membership numbers, and California is a big country, but Florida's got a lot of members. So what are, I know they're doing great work out there in Florida. What do we need to be doing to get more of our members engaged with COABE and benefiting from what you offer your members?
Right. So we had a very strong partnership with CCAE, the California Council on Adult Education, for many years. I think right now they're just right in the middle of some really big budget cuts and some big changes across the board.
Yeah, we all are.
We love CCAE. We work very closely with them, and we anticipate that membership number will change pretty quickly in the next few months. I would just say, Jose, I don't know if your organization is a member of CCAE, but I know that they have open membership, so any organization or any individual could join. So that's all. I think I would just recommend that. I think there's open to CBOs as well as to federally funded organizations. But, yeah, we've held national conferences in California. We've had partnerships with them on advocacy, so I do anticipate that number will go up in the next couple of months.
You bet. Well, we're going to look more into it. We're, as you know, the Council on Literacy. We're the Coalition for San Diego County, so we have a mix of programs and certainly a good number of adult educators who are surely members of COABE. But I'm just thinking of partnership ideas. Let me ask you just because you're where are you? Now I see Cicero, New York. I don't know where that is. Is that where you live? Or is that?
Yes. Yeah, that's right outside of Syracuse. So if you were to go about 15 miles from Syracuse University, you'd find Cicero. And I personally am based in Cicero, New York as well. And our organization, COABE, has, at one point we had an office in Washington, D.C. We partnered with NASDA, the National Association for State Directors of Adult Ed. And we both shared an office there. And then just recently we vacated that office. We do have a public policy firm there in D.C. that we work closely with. But now we're in Cicero, New York, and that's been working really well for us. I mean, we definitely have partnerships all across the country, but our base is in Cicero, New York.
Very good. And, I know it's really important to provide member benefits and interface with the members. I was clicking on the conference tab, and maybe it's my computer, but like a lot of folks, conferences are being canceled. Are you going to have a national conference for COABE this year? Do you know?
We are. I'm so excited to say we are. So we were originally going to have our conference in Baltimore, Maryland on April 6th through 9th, and then COVID hit about a month out from that. So we worked with a hotel and, whatnot and moved it out to August 16th through 19th. And then the mayor of Baltimore canceled any gatherings of more than 250 people in the city of Baltimore. So that then forced us to look at the virtual options. And because we've run 3 virtual conferences in the past and many, many national conferences and even some state conferences, we thought, we can do this. It's going to be a quick pivot. It's going to be a lot of work, but let's try to still provide the same professional development just online. So We are now doing that. We're now converting over 350 sessions to online sessions. So, working really closely with our national strand partners as well as more than 300 presenters to be able to move this to the virtual platform. We're going to also have an exhibit hall and have over 100 exhibitors there as well.
Nice. Yeah, I have to make sure to get the information from you because I want to get that out to our membership so that they're participating. So good for you. I mean, talk about the turnarounds and such and having to adjust. And we know that the technology was there. It's just a matter of, I didn't use Zoom until 2 months ago. So sometimes you get forced into I didn't know that my computer had a camera on it. I didn't this whole time. So anyway, it sort of forces us, right? So the conference is going on. Do you get out much at all? That is, do you travel? Do you visit member sites?
Oh, my goodness. I travel a lot. I mean, now with COVID-19, I've actually been home quite a bit, which has been really nice. But it's not so much that I visit member sites as much as that I would be maybe a speaker or a panel presenter at different events or meeting with various partners. That's been more my role. It's like that partnership and fund development and, having more of a presence at the national level. Our regional reps, though, they do get out to the local programs. So we have on our board of directors, we have regional reps that work with the state associations and work with the local programs. But all that being said, there's more than 2,000 local programs that are federally funded, and the chances of getting out to 2,000 programs, it just doesn't happen on a consistent basis like I'd like it to. We need a whole lot more people and a whole lot more funding to do that. But what we've tried to do is just make sure that those conferences and events that we need to be at, that we're present.
Sure, and then and tell me about your last national conference, because I know that's one way to access the CEO of an organization. You go to them. I'm being nostalgic here, but that opportunity to interact with folks at conference settings and live workshops and such. What would people see at a regular conference of COABE?
Oh, my goodness, yes. So, first of all, we love our national conference. It really is that opportunity to get together with more than 2,000 of our members and have those meetings, many special interest meetings, many networking events, many off-site events. So, for example, typically a national conference would have well over 400 concurrent sessions over 3.5 days. We'd have one day full of pre-conferences, about 30 to 35 of those that are special interest, targeted professional development on any given topic that's trending in the field. And then we would have our general session the next day. And typically we'd have, the Assistant Secretary of Education. We'd have maybe the State Director of Adult Education. We'd have a keynote speaker there at the general session. Then we'd be off and running for, 9 different sessions, concurrent type of sessions that day. And then that night we'd have off-site events where we could all get together and network, because, Jose, that's one of the things we hear from our field so much is they feel isolated. They're trying to do all this good work, but they kind of feel alone in that good work. So we try to provide networking opportunities where they can network with their regional rep, or they can network with others in their region. They can really network with people they haven't seen maybe in a year or two since one of the last conferences they've been at. So we provide a lot of networking opportunities. Then the following day we'd have more general session, and we'd probably have an awards event that day where we'd feature our outstanding teacher of the year, our outstanding administrator of the year, the adult learner of the year, advocate of the year. So the different awards that we provide through the Dollar General Literacy Foundation, we'd have that event, which is wonderful. It's kind of like the Emmys of adult education, where we showcase and recognize excellence in the field. And then we would go off and, have more programming all throughout the day till like 5 o'clock and have another offsite event. And then the final day, we would have that closing session in the morning, which is always kind of sad because we know that we're almost done with the conference. And once we were done with that, we'd have the last of our sessions and we would be done for the day. And then our board would go out after and discuss the ways we could do it better next year. That's typically what a conference is like for us.
And when was the last time you were in California with this conference?
Oh, I was there last year. So the last time I was in California personally, I worked very closely with CCAE up until July 1st of last year. So I love them. I personally have a good relationship with CCAE, so that's the last time I was there last year.
Wonderful. And so you average about 2,000 people at your conferences?
Oh, yeah. Yep. We average, so last year in New Orleans, 2019, we were in New Orleans, Louisiana. I believe we had just under 2,400 that came. This year we were expecting about 2,200 because Baltimore is not, necessarily a destination city. And then next year we're going to be in Nashville, Tennessee, and we expect about 2,500 there.
And what's the date of the Nashville conference?
I believe that's April 5th through the 8th, but I'll double-check that.
Okay, all righty. Yeah, I'll double-check, too. I have friends out there, so I get to see you, and I get to go to Nashville and enjoy the conference. So I think we'll hopefully be all ready to travel. Things are safe and people are feeling comfortable and confident and stuff. I'm not sure when we're going to break. I know Wade's going to let me know in just a minute. He whispers in my ear. Oh, how long, Wade? Oh, got it. Okay. So we're going to come back with Sharon Bonney. She's the CEO of COABE, and talk a little bit more about the strategic initiatives and really the advocacy work that's happening. And then I have a question, just something for you to think about, Sharon. If you could describe the average adult basic educator who's a member. I'm not sure if that's easy, but who are these folks? Anyway, we'll be back. You've been listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio. And again, we're with COABE CEO, Sharon Bonney, and we're going to talk a little bit more about what her organization is doing to support adult educators. So we'll be right back. Please stand by.
Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. Eset Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With Eset, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with Eset Multi-Device Security Pack at eset.com. That's ESET.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page, mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Did dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com. Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. Eset Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With Eset, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with Eset Multi-Device Security Pack at eset.com. That's ESET.com. Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.
Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome back. We're going into our third segment with the CEO of the Coalition on Adult Basic Education, COABE, Sharon Bonney, and you're listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio. I'm Jose Cruz, and we're learning more about what COABE is doing to support adult educators. One of the things that occurs to me, Sharon, is that it really is easy to get lost in a sea of members and such when you're and really a challenge, I think, for people in your position, anyone who's running a national organization, to have a relationship with the members. But it sounds like you do, and it's really a good thing, as you've said. It can be lonely out there. So tell me your profile of the average adult basic educator, if there is such a thing. Who is your membership? Who is that person that says, I'm glad to be part of this group, this is why?
Right. So we have many different sorts of members, but primarily our membership is teachers and administrators, with the greatest emphasis being on teachers over administrators. So I'd say about 60 to 65% of our members are teachers. They're primarily women, and primarily older women, those who are over 50. So that's kind of a breakdown of who our members are, who I see year over year at our national conference. One of the things we've been talking a lot about is kind of the graying of the field of adult education, and how do we make sure that we bring in some new, fresh educators, who would be coming to us maybe as they actually chose adult education as their profession. They didn't necessarily fall into adult education, which is often what happens, as well as maybe somebody's been a second grade teacher and they're teaching these classes at night as a second job. We see a lot of that. A lot of people who are part-time, it's a second job or multiple jobs for them. So that's kind of what we're seeing on our end with who our teachers and administrators are.
So because I think kind of the perception is, or it's mine, for some reason, oh, you're an adult educator, you used to teach, and then you decided to go into adult basic education because it's easier, it's different, you like working with adults. Or there are a good percentage of people, I think I heard you say, who this is what they wanted to do all along. They wanted to be involved in adult education.
Well, that's kind of correct. I agree with you. Many of our adult educators kind of fell into it. It's a second profession for them, or just the other day I talked to a woman who was 16 years as a corrections officer, and now she's an adult educator, and it's just the nicest lady, but it's really a second profession for her. And that's what we see often, is it's not what people went to school for. But we're hoping that will change. We're hoping that the visibility of adult education will be raised, and that people will want to come into adult education. They'll want to work with adults, and that will be their primary and first profession.
And why, asking your perspective, and I think we can guess, and it's probably the same thing for the educators, why is this service population, your members, important? Why are they important to you? Why is your job as a CEO of COABE your passion?
Wow. So, by the PIAC standards, there's 43 million adults out there that either don't read or write at the level that they need to be able to just, cope in life, and they aren't able to get the jobs that they need. So that's one issue, right? There's this whole population out there that needs us. They need They need adult education to be able to get a job, to be able to help their children, to be able to get into community college, to be able to change the poverty cycle, to be able to get out of that cycle, and to be able to make intergenerational changes. But then also, there's all these individuals, these adult educators, who really want to make a difference, and that's why they do this. On average, our adult educators take a pay cut to be in this profession. And there's many, as you know, working in a community-based organization, there's many that tutor. They do this to volunteer. They do it out of the goodness of their heart. So, to me, there's such a need. If we want to change the economic standing in this country, and if we want to be able to help people get up and out of poverty, then you need adult education for that. That's really the secret sauce, is to make sure that people have the education that they need, and then they can help their children.
Wonderful. Do you have a favorite story? I know I'm putting you on the spot. I can come back to you in our fourth and last segment. Do you have a favorite story of either a member or a student in your circle, just a success story that you want to share?
Yeah, so I would be happy to share this. There's many, honestly. There's a lady that I met who lives in Louisiana. She was one of our featured adult learners, as a matter of fact, and she grew up in such poverty. Her mother had 10 children, and her mother was a drug addict and had many, many men in and out of their home. And at a young age, this woman, when she was just a child, she was molested by a family friend and went through just so much trauma. She was pregnant by the time she was 12. She had her third child by the time she was 17. She was homeless. Her mom kicked her out. She was living out on the streets. She learned about Delta Community College and the adult ed program that they offered. Not only did they offer her adult education, but they also offered her that they would help with the babysitting, that they had a family literacy program there, so her children could come. They could get the free services of having their, being babysat and, being taught some basic skills while she was getting the education that she needed because she had dropped out of school. Well, she went on to, not only did she get her GED, but she went on from there. She went into community college. She got her degree there. Now she's a small business owner. She came with us to Washington, D.C. to advocate for adult education. And, to me, when I talked with her, I was just so proud of her to hear what she had come from and what she'd made for herself and the life she made for her children. So that's one of my favorites, but there's so many more like that.
Yeah, it's a great story, and it also speaks a bit to, when we think about education, we think about teachers and classrooms and, whiteboards and books and such, but it's not just that. I mean, I think that's what I love about the field, about adult basic education and literacy, that the people like you and your members who they care about the students, and they know that it's not just the skills. It's not just books and papers and pencils. It's people and it's community, and I know that's important to you. And so I thank you for your work. In preparation for those kinds of things, whether it's in the classroom or whether it's one of those things that's more a challenge that a person might have in their lives, what kinds of things? Let me see if I can ask this question. What kinds of things do your members ask for to help them deal with the challenges that they come across with their students?
That's a really great question. The main thing I hear from members, I hear a few things. One is funding. There's always a funding need. I mean, our field of adult education operates on such a shoestring budget, Jose. When you look at what we get for adult learners, and these are federally funded programs that must hit amazing requirements and regulations, right, in order to be able to be funded. On average, they receive $500 to $1,200 per pupil per year, whereas in elementary ed, it's $10,000 per pupil per year. So you think about, they're working with those with the most barriers to employment, the most barriers in life, and they have that sort of funding deficiency. That's, I think, what we hear the most, not I think, but what I hear the most from the field. We did a strategic planning survey recently. By far, that's what we heard from the field. Be our voice. Advocate for us on Capitol Hill. We conduct a Capitol Hill Day, and this year actually we made it a month of advocacy that we call the April Advocacy, where we really try to get the field to advocate for themselves. We at COABE advocate at the national level, but we also want them to advocate for themselves because we know that funding is such an issue. So that's what I hear primarily is, hey, there's so much we want to do, but we have such limited funding we're operating on a shoestring budget here. What can COABE do to help us?
Very important, and I know that, and that it's good to have you. I know you're doing things with legislature and such, and it's good to have that force behind the field, because I know every once in a while it gets threatened with cuts, and so it's good to have other voices being heard. And a number that I haven't heard this number in a while. So thanks for reminding me, because I used to use this, and I think we used to talk about it was $800 per adult student versus $8,000, I think, for a child. And I think you said $10,000. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Yeah.
So, Jose, we have an award-winning public awareness campaign called educateandelevate.org, and if you go on our website for that, you'll see that we have fact sheets for each state. It's based on NRS data, where it shows, and it's what we get from the government. So it's pretty simple. It shows how much money we get in from the feds for adult learners, and it's between $500 to $1,200, depending on the state.
Right. So you have a video. If our listeners go to the website, you have a video that explains more about Educate and Elevate, and so this is so it's great to have that information. And it's good to be reminded of the return on investment that we get back because of we want more money. but here you have people, adults and such, and it's just second time around for a lot of them, and they have a little bit of a head start and still a lot to offer. So I think I heard Wade back there. Wade, what are we down to? 10 seconds. Okay, so we're going to be back. We're not in the studio. I'm on the phone, and so is Sharon, so it makes it kind of hard to time our exits and entries. Wade's doing a great job. We're going to be back with Sharon Bonney. She's the CEO of COABE, and I'm Jose Cruz. You're listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
I've heard this is like one of the best pizza spots in town.
Yes, it is.
I'll do a slice of pepperoni, slice of vegetarian.
You got it.
And I will pay for all of that in 3 days.
In 3 days? What's that mean?
Well, wait, you accept credit cards. That money's not going to hit your account for 3 days anyway.
I need my money quicker.
At Chase, we hear you. With Express Funding, card payments are in your Chase account the next business day. Go to chase.com/expressfunding. Chase for business, so you can.
Compensated participation. All businesses are subject to credit approval. Not all clients are eligible for next business day funding, and additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Donate cash, furniture, clothes, and other gently used household items to Father Joe's Villages and get a nice tax break in April. Every donation is tax deductible. Believe you can make a difference. Be Father Joe. Go to neighborhood.org or call 1-800-HOMELESS to donate today.
Life is full of misadventures, from car crashes to home fires to getting choked out on the mat. Yes, I said getting choked out because I'm Carlos Kramer, jiu-jitsu competitor, MMA and media personality, and mild-mannered insurance agent. You can follow my adventures on Kick-Ass Radio, and I can protect you from life's misadventures at Kramer Insurance. Home, auto, life, business, and workers' comp. We're at KramerINS.com, and I want you to join my world.
This is Bill Gruber with BizVid Communications, a Southern California video production leader. We've been honored to sponsor, produce, write, and host many of the fine programs on WS Radio over the years. So we understand how important the internet and your website exposure are. As video producers, we know the tricks and secrets to incorporate video to increase your search engine optimization and business success. Visit bizvidcommunications.com to see what we can do for you. BIZVID communications.com.
Too much to do? Not enough time to get it done? Call on the experts at Another 8 Hours for your business support needs. By partnering with Another 8 Hours, we allow you to focus on the more important matters, like being in front of your clients, doing what you do best, rather than being stuck at a desk poring over paperwork, rummaging through emails, returning phone calls, and struggling to get everything done by yourself. Meanwhile, your family and social life are going down the drain. Go to another8hours.com or call 8 more hours. That's 866-734-6877.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world where children don't play, or dream, or imagine?
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're working every day to find cures for diseases that strike down children. Because we can't imagine a world without children. Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To learn how you can help, log on to our website, stjude.org.
Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
The San Diego Council on Literacy brings you Literacy for All with your host, Jose Cruz.
Welcome back. This is our fourth segment. I'm Jose Cruz. We're on the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio. Our guest is the CEO of COABE, Sharon Bonney. And Sharon, I'm actually going through more of the website. You've done something really neat here, and maybe you just haven't gone to enough websites, or you've just done something that makes things easier for people to be advocates and to engage in communication with our legislators to fund our work. So as I look at the website and look at the legislative page, you have something called Take Action, and you have these tabs, and it really makes it easier for folks to send messages to the legislators about issues that are important to them. I know funding is always an issue, and we just talked a bit about how programs are underfunded. But one of the main roles I see of organizations like yours is that advocacy piece. And so, just overall, your website is amazing, and then just how you're enabling, making it easier for folks to be advocates is. It's just a really good thing. So I hope more people copy what you're doing. But how's that working out for you?
And let me ask you, I really appreciate that.
It's beautiful, beautiful work. I want to ask a question, and probably should have asked somebody this a long time ago. So I'll ask you. So I press the Take Action button, and I send a message, and I say, look, I want to see $692 million we owe of federal funding. I am for that. When that gets to D.C. or wherever, how much do they pay attention to these kinds of messages, this kind of, let's call it voting?
Right. So that's a good question. And we know that they, at the very least, take, account of those emails that come in. We know because we've had over 500 face-to-face visits with legislators and asked them. We've asked them. So when we have our field rally together to take action and they send those emails or they make those phone calls, what happens? And they said, we take account of those. And when we then go and talk, with our other legislators, we talk about, hey, we received 10,000 emails or we received, however many phone calls. It really does make a difference. The legislators do want to hear from you. And many of our members in our field have received personalized emails back from their legislator or legislative staff thanking them and talking about what they'll do to help adult education. So it's a super important part of the success of the field. You probably saw that working together with the field, we were able to stave off $200 million of funding cuts and add $75 million to the pot. And that was really because everybody rallied together. They picked up the phone, they called, they sent those emails, and it made a difference.
Wonderful. That's we should all get that message. So thank you, because we're all in the same field. So thank you for your support and for getting our voices together for this very important work. I'm also looking too that for your members, you have the COABE Journal, and do all members get that? And how often does it go out? And I'm just looking at the topics, and it looks like hot stuff. What do you hear about your journal?
Oh, so thank you for asking that question. Our journal really is thematic, and so right now the theme is workforce education, and it goes out twice per year. Up until just this recent one, we were offering it for free as a download. Now we're asking folks to help contribute to cover the cost of it. So it's available on the Kindle for $2.99, or it's available as a PDF for $2.99, or you can get the whole thing for $29.99. And really, that just helps us cover the cost of publishing the journal twice per year. We love the fact that it's written by and for the field. So many of the folks that have written in are administrators or teachers or experts there in the field. They take the time to write in, and then we include that and we share the best practices and reflective essays that are sent in. And it really is a switch. So in the past, it was written, our journal has been published for 40 years. In the past, it was really written by and for researchers. Now it's really written by and for the field. And so we've seen a huge spike. We've had, I believe it was over 68,000 downloads of our journal, the last edition that we published. And that was on leadership. That's the last edition until this newest one on workforce. But it's definitely become a really good resource for the field and really useful, which was really the reason why we kind of shifted gears a bit and asked it, to take it in a new direction.
Very good. So if I wanted to write something about literacy coalitions, you would consider publishing that, right?
We sure
I'm
would.
smiling,
It's thematic. Yeah, so it was about workforce. I think the next edition we have 2 editions on workforce coming out, and then the next one I believe will be on learning disabilities. So, then you could contribute if you had something related to learning disabilities that you wanted to contribute.
And so how far along, looking at your other strategic initiatives, how far along are you in putting into play the behind every employer? I mean, I like the description. There's a campaign website, so I haven't gone there. But I like the description that this is a way of strategically connecting companies with with educational leaders to provide solutions for the workforce talent challenges. And I gather, in fact, I know, and you and I know, that's an important conversation to be having. And I'm glad that you were facilitating that. I don't know how much we actually do that. What is your read on that?
That's another really good question, Jose. I mean, for us, we think of adult education as helping adults to get the literacy skills that they need so that they can get a job or get into community college or help their children with their homework. Those really basic skills so that they can change the trajectory of their life. So for us, working with employers is really important. That's why we teamed up with Skills USA. They work with over 600 employers, and so it just seemed like a natural partnership there. They've been to our conference. We go to theirs. We have an MOU in place with them. We also work with Business U, and Skills USA is a member of Business U as well. And so for us, this is just it's a natural partnership that will enhance the field. It will only help those adults that need jobs to get them. One of our partnerships we're really proud of is with Amazon. Amazon has they call it the career choice, and that's where they will waive the requirement of needing to have a high school diploma to get a job. And they will also waive the requirement of needing to have your bachelor's degree to get into management. So we've been working closely with Amazon to provide a talent pipeline so that when our adult learners are going through and getting their high school equivalency, when they get out, they can have a job at the end of it. And so that's just one way we've been working with employers. We also, one of our board of directors, her name is Debbie Faubus-Kendrick. She has a wonderful partnership with Tyson where they actually have a literacy program right on site. And what they saw was that, retention went way up, absenteeism went way down, productivity went way up, because when these frontline team members saw that there was a way up and out of poverty and into a family-sustaining job through literacy, that it just made all the difference. So Tyson now has literacy programs, I believe, in 40 out of 44 sites, and they've been a strong partner. They'll be at our national conference as well, and, we've been really delighted with that partnership, too.
Well, you have a number of really great ones. I mean, Amazon, Google. I know you're doing things with Learning Upgrade and National Dollar General and others. So, somebody out there is making really good connections and enhancing our work. If people want to know more, Sharon, about COABE, I think we're running out of time. Who should they talk to, or what would be? Maybe you could just give us the COABE website and then have folks learn more about your organization and becoming members.
Well, Jose, they can go to www.coabe.org. for more details, or they can call us at 1-844-43-COABE.
Very good. Thank you for being on the show with us, Sharon. Really appreciate what you're doing. And let's have you back again. Is that a good idea?
Oh, yeah. Thanks so much, Jose. I appreciate all you're doing as well.
You're welcome. Okay, you've been listening to the Literacy for All radio show on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children. After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
In the military, things can change in an instant. Your personal life is just the same. Just like you protect our country, you want your family protected. That's why thousands of military members trust Navy Mutual Life Insurance. Navy Mutual is nonprofit, providing current and former Navy, Marine, and Coast Guard families with life insurance, no sales fees, and no military service restrictions. Protecting members on active duty and beyond. Call 1-800-628-6011, 800-628-6011, NavyMutual.org, insuring those who serve.
Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. Eset Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With Eset, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with Eset Multi-Device Security Pack at eset.com. That's ESET.com.
I've heard this is like one of the best pizza spots in town.
Yes, it is.
I'll do a slice of pepperoni, slice of vegetarian.
You got it.
And I will pay for all of that in 3 days.
In 3 days? What's that mean?
Well, wait, you accept credit cards. That money's not going to hit your account for 3 days anyway.
I need my money quicker.
At Chase, we hear you. With Express Funding, card payments are in your Chase account the next business day. Go to chase.com/expressfunding. Chase for business, so you can.
Compensated participation. All businesses are subject to credit approval. Not all clients are eligible for next business day funding, and additional terms, conditions, and restrictions apply.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. MOZEguitars.com, 619-698-1185.